Welcome to the Better Together podcast, where we look for ways that we can come together to work more effectively to help each other as we minister. Today I have with us Dr. Bruce Barnes. He's the promotional director for Free Will Baptist in the state of Virginia, and he has a new program that they have recently launched called Grace Outreach. They're using it there in Virginia, but they've also used it with churches in Canada and throughout the United States, and especially as many of us are going through this COVID-19 crisis, it's the kind of resource that could be helpful to all of us. So Dr. Barnes, thank you for taking the time to be with us today, my friend.
Well, thank you, Dr. Moody, for letting me be here.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Now, I want you to tell us about this Grace Outreach program. I know you put a lot of work. You all have spent a lot of resources to get this up to speed and to use it. Tell us a bit about this program.
Right. Well, the whole premise behind Grace Outreach is trying to motivate more people to get involved in evangelism, giving many more outlets for people to evangelize in ways that probably we haven't always done. And it motivates people to get involved and then sustain their involvement over time. And so we found this to be very successful. I get reports back from pastors all the time of how excited they are, mainly just of the number of people that are now involved in evangelism. And that's because they're motivated to do so, doing things that they like to do, want to do, but those things collectively work together to help the church reach out more effectively. And there's a statement I've made over this time is that if we do something, God has something to bless.
Yes.
And I think that has been the bottom line, the bottom premise. When people do a lot of things in the church to help evangelize, meet one another's needs, the work of the Lord just blesses that work, and you see it growing more and more. And I'm getting those type of reports from pastors all the time.
So you all have set up a program where people can be making contact with one another as they go through a week and even a month. And even as a pastor or church leaders, you're able to kind of monitor and kind of help each other to more effectively make sure others don't fall through the cracks, so to speak.
Yes, that's right. And especially now that it was a 3-year project of fundraising and code writing for the program that we now have online. It's software and an app that runs completely on the cloud, where all of the efforts of evangelistic work of the church can actually be managed as simply as on a cell phone. It can be done on tablet, any type of smart device, computer, regardless of the type. And so what it does, it puts in the hands of a pastor the ability to make sure that they are making the contacts. He can assign it right from his phone, sitting at home if he wanted to. This software will automatically send the assignment to the person who signed up to participate. It'll show them what they volunteered to do, where they can complete it, but they have an app on their phone that immediately connects for that particular outreach effort. They can complete it. They can go right back once they're done with it. We have all kinds of resources in the software and app that will help those people do the things that they volunteered to do. And so when they're done, they go right back to their phone or their computer. They can type in right there that they finished it. That will automatically go back to the database and update the database. And the pastor will get on his dashboard, or the church administrator will get on the dashboard an indication that that was just completed. They'll be able to see the results. If they ever assign anything else to go to that person again, let's say to that contact, the person getting that assignment will be able to see all the past history right there when it comes to them. And so again, it's just another little tool that nothing, like you had just mentioned, nothing's going to fall through the cracks unless you just don't look back at the dashboard.
Mm-hmm. So anyone that wants to be involved in ministry, you've got them. You've kind of made it as easy as you possibly can be. It could be staff members. It could be just a regular so-called Christian that's trying to be an ambassador for Christ or burden bearer. Yes. They can kind of know, okay, I'm trying to make contact with this person, and it's a bit like counselors. They keep notes of individuals they work with so that someone can pick up from the last point where they were at. Same thing here, where this person's worried about X, or this person's asking us to pray about such and such, and you're able to build upon that ministry. It sounds like you've also have resources for the person doing the visiting or doing the texting or the checking on a person, where they can use that to be more effective in their ministry to these various individuals.
Yes, we've put together some grace resources. Of course, we're adding to that each month, increasing all of that. But let's say a pastor knows that somebody, even within the congregation, is discouraged right now, and maybe it's a financial discouragement. Some people are going through that right now.
Mm-hmm.
He could have a contact who he knows that they want to write letters, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ministry that they could do. He can make the assignment to the person and then attach to it the grace resource that we've provided on how to approach people for encouragement in specific areas. They can read all of that, and then they can either make the phone call or send the letter. And again, we have letter templates that people can kind of use and follow along if they want to use those to help them do that. But again, then it's assigned right out. It's done. They know exactly what to do. When they do it, it lets the pastor know that that particular assignment was accomplished. And you can set a time or a date range for a particular thing to be done. And if it's not done within that time frame that the pastor or church administrator has set up, it's going to indicate it on the dashboard that the time has been up, but that particular contact has not been made. And again, that's just a good way of following up and making sure that everything gets done.
Mm-hmm. So anytime we do something new, it can be hard. We want to do things. We wonder, are we doing it right? Should we do it in a different way? What you're doing with the app is you're giving them some templates. So here's some good things to think about when you write a letter. Here's some good things to think about as you talk. And then, hey, people get sick, things can happen, and sometimes a person doesn't follow through like they had planned to or wanted to. What you're saying with this is, I can know, I didn't get that handled in a certain time frame.
Right.
So either I come back to it, or we're like, well, his wife's in the hospital. He's not going to be able to do that. So we can get someone else to do it.
Yes.
So that person doesn't fall through the cracks, so to speak.
That's right.
And it really sounds like when we're recording this now, many of our states are under a lockdown or a shelter in place. So we're asking folks to make contact weekly, and with some folks 2 or 3 times a week. This is a way to really make sure that happens as you're going through these things.
Yes, and I think that's one of the important things right now is that we're all facing this. I mean, even in my promotional office, I'm facing this. I can't go physically, but I've got, if I were using this means or a pastor using this means, they can make sure that they're still going through the series of those contacts and making sure they're getting in touch with them. And, this is most of our visiting and things have been, we're going to go knock on somebody's door. That's what we've thought of in evangelism overall. But what this does, we also provide within the Grace Outreach program ways that you can make contact without touching.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the letter writing, texting, phone calls, things like that can be done right now. And even reaching out to those who are lost. We might not be able to do the type of evangelistic approach that we normally have gotten used to, but just even somebody going through your list and of people you're trying to make contact with, just somebody from the church calling, been thinking about you and praying for you, just little things like that. It's something we can do right now that could really have lasting benefits once all of this is over.
So the culture was kind of going in this direction anyway. It has really sped up as a result of this particular virus crisis. It sounds like the timing of the app was pretty good, and this is something churches could take advantage of at this particular point in time.
Yes.
How could they learn more about the app and look at maybe employing it or using it? What's your website that they could go to pick up more about that?
It's gograceoutreach.com. So gograceoutreach.com. If nothing else, they can go to our Virginia website, vafwb.org. We've got links that go straight over to that. I've got kind of an overview video when they get to the gograceoutreach.com. They can take a look at that, all the information that's there. And our executive board met at the end of last week. Normally, our subscription for this is $480 a year, and it's been an expensive endeavor, and we're trying to make sure that we're meeting our financial responsibilities, but we don't want to hide this either and keep it from folks. So our executive board and I, we made a decision. We're going to offer this for the first full year at half of the normal price for $240. That would be for the entire year, and that way to try to get as many churches on as possible. And listen, if a church they don't even have that, just go to our Virginia website, let them get in contact with me. I'll work with them any way that we can to help them. And by the way, just to let you know too, that we, from the very outset, we are providing this completely free to all of our National Association of Baptist missionaries. That's whether they are international, national, state, or local, as long as they are under a bona fide one of our mission boards somewhere. They get free access to this as long as they're in mission status, because we're all about trying to help churches to reach others.
Well, Dr. Barnes, I really appreciate that. I appreciate what you're doing in Virginia and what you're doing to help our churches. And it sounds like this may be an app whose time has come. Looks like some pretty good timing. So we encourage folks to make contact with you to look at this. This could be a good opportunity for many of our churches. We have a tendency to be upset about what we can't do, but this is a chance to check on coworkers, check on classmates, and minister to those that were already shut in.
Yes.
It's really a app whose time has come. So thank you for the investment you all have done in this in Virginia, my friend.
Well, thank you. We're excited about it and excited about the potential of it.
Well, God be with you and God bless you, my friend.
And you too, Dr. Moody. Thank you so much.